Oh, I did the did the Wiggles hands then. G'day guys, Josh Huggett here from Huggett Media. Welcome to Tog Talk, a show where we talk about photography stuff. Woo! And in that, today we're going to be talking about controversial photography opinions. I'd really like to claim this is my own idea, but Aftershoot made a post in the community group saying, "What's your controversial opinion?" And I saw it and I was like, fuck, that's not a bad little podcast episode. We could talk about those. So we're actually going to dive into this post in the Aftershoot community and we're going to read people's comments. We're going to read what people have said. I'm going to give my opinion on their controversial opinion. And then if you've got any of your own controversial opinions, let me know in a comment or something somewhere, and we'll make a follow-up episode on this episode where we talk about controversial opinions. I feel like I'm probably one of the best people for this episode because I like to think that I don't really have a filter, and that's pretty well known that I don't have a filter, I think, where I'm more than happy to just kind of say exactly what's on my mind all of the time. It's why Americans love having me on their podcasts, because I'll say things that other people won't say. So I feel like this topic was kind of made for me, where this is like exactly where I need to be, is talking about controversial opinions, because we're actually going to be honest about them. No bullshitting, no beating around the bush. I'm going to put my phone on silent. I've opened a can of what's this called? White Monster. And we're going to fucking read some controversial stuff. It's going to be great. So, Aftershoot, last night at 2 a.m. my time, what's your photographer controversial opinion? And there are currently 171 comments. Let's go. Let's dive in. Now, for those of you driving, again, don't listen to this episode with your kids, because I'm probably going to say a couple of cuss words, unless your kids are okay with that. Right. I won't say people's full names, just in the art of privacy. Maybe I'll just say their first name, and then you can connect the dots when you get home. But no full names. I don't want to go on, fucking ruin anybody's career by reading out their controversial opinion. I don't think they're actually going to be that controversial unless they've opened up anonymous comments. That's when people will actually be controversial, when you can hide behind anonymity. But until then, I feel like these are going to be pretty vanilla. So potential clients this is from Rylan. Potential clients don't care about the cost of your gear and CODB to justify your pricing. Cost of doing business, CODB, cost of doing business. Had to do that in my head then. To justify your pricing. So many people are posting full breakdowns of that on social media, and then they did the cross hands emoji. Sorry, that just alone, that does not justify what you charge. For your own business, it does that. It does, but that's not what potential clients want to see/hear. I actually saw a reel about this the other day. It was yesterday, I think I saw it online, and someone was like, "This is why I cost $3,000," and they show like their cameras being like $5,000, and then like SD cards and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I kind of agree with this one. I do have to say that, the potential people out there don't actually give a fuck about how much your camera costs. I can turn up, and I remember when I first bought my Canon R3s, and I was like, "Oh, well, these are like $8,500 a camera. Like, oh, this is why we cost so much, because our cameras cost so much." But yeah, nobody actually gives a fuck at all. That's just kind of expected, that your gear costs a lot. If you were turning up to a wedding and your gear didn't cost a lot, then I feel like that's more of a red flag that you've got cheap gear, rather than bragging about expensive gear. Should be more about, like, if anything, if you're going to brag about why you cost so much, or try to make a reel about why you're charging so much money, it should all be about how much time you're putting in and why you're worth that much, rather than just the gear. Like, think of this as a bakery. A bakery has ovens that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. All of the equipment inside a bakery, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know this because my parents grew up. We had bakeries when we grew up. But a bread roll is still $1. Doesn't matter how much, like, it's come out of an oven that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's still $1, because that's just what a bread roll costs. Photographers cost money. because of other reasons, not the gear that's actually creating the photography. It's the photographer themselves. Just like we could give a $5,000 camera to somebody that's just starting, and that doesn't mean that they're a $2,500 photographer out of the gate, does it? Just because they've got an expensive camera. Yeah. I don't think it's a controversial opinion, but I think the controversial opinion is more that people think that they're expensive because of their gear rather than the other way around. There are some people out there taking ridiculously good photos, charging a ridiculous amount of money on really, really old cameras. Bad take. Bad take. Good take, Rylan. Bad take, other people. Rochelle, Flatlays, can we just not? Absolutely. I literally spoke about this in the last episode about how we don't spend that much time on Flatlays because nobody gives a fuck about your Flatlay. Sorry, Michael from the vendor table, but nobody cares about Flatlays. I know you love your Flatlays, Michael. I know you love them so much, but nobody outside of the photography industry gives a fuck about Flatlays. It's just photos of shoes to them. Like, you can set up your Flatlay in the best possible way. It could be the best Flatlay that's ever been seen in the entirety of the world. The best you could make a fucking Instagram account just for this Flatlay. It's that good. The couple don't give a fuck. Just recently I took some absolutely stellar Flatlay images at a wedding. And then when I asked the couple for and I took a couple of extra photos that I wouldn't normally take. Like, I took more Flatlay photos than I normally would because I'd done such a good job and I was fucking proud of it. And then when we asked for feedback on the gallery, one of the responses was, we probably didn't need that many photos of shoes. Well, fuck me. That's the whole fucking thing, isn't it? So yeah, no, we don't need to do Flatlays. Like, the boxes are cool, those things that he uses that like elevates it and whatever, but yeah, nah, Flatlays are not for me. Rochelle, Rachel, I'm on board. Can we not with Flatlays? Lucas, I'm not vetting these while I read them. I'm literally just reading from the top to the bottom. So not being able to use flash properly is not what you should call natural light photographer. Paying magazines isn't really featured in. Oh, that's two. First one is kind of a personal attack. Because but I don't call myself a natural light photographer. I'm a photographer. So we'll dissect that one. Not being able to use flash properly is not what you should call natural light photographer. Lucas. That's from Lucas. And I feel like this is a personal attack on my psyche. I know it's not, but it may be. So I don't call myself a natural light photographer. I just call myself a photographer because if I need to use flash, I'll use flash. If I need to use constant lights, I'll use constant lights. I think people are trying too hard to label themselves in photography. Like, I'm an editorial photographer. I'm a documentary photographer. I'm a natural light photographer. I'm a flash photographer. Where people should be spending more time just focusing on building a brand around what people would want to hire, you know? Calling yourself a natural light photographer is cool, but I feel like a better alternative would just be saying, I'm a photographer that uses mainly natural light. Because if it's pitch black outside, you're still going to have to use a flash or a light or something to fix your images. Andrew just made a post about this, didn't he? Andrew W. from England. He made a post about natural light photographers when they walk into a venue, and it was a really pitch black venue. And he is true. You can be as natural light as you want, but if you walk into a dark venue, you're still gonna have to use flash. Where I think the issue is flash photographers using flash all fucking day. It doesn't look real ever. And this is personal taste because I know there is a whole market for people that use just flash all the time. I just don't when people are talking about oh, you can, you got to fill in those shadows. But do you really need to fill in the shadows? Just position them better so that there's no shadows. You don't need to fill in the shadows because then it's not realistic. Because if the sun's behind somebody or if the sun's in front of somebody or to the side, there's going to be shadows. Do you really need to fill in all the shadows all of the time? It just looks really, really unnatural when... Yeah, I don't know. So that's a whole different kettle of fish, that one, isn't it? Where you could go, maybe we do a whole episode on Flash and we bring on Justin again and we argue it out. Or maybe we bring on Mike because Mike's really good at Flash as well. But Yeah, I think there is a whole market of people that don't know how to use Flash properly. I'm admittedly okay with Flash. That's where I would leave it. I'm not an expert at Flash, but I know how to use it. I have a lot of flashes. I went through stages where I was like setting up 3 flashes in a reception area so that I could take photos at all directions. I've gone through phases of just like using 1 flash, which is what I'm in at the moment, 1 flash and 2 solid lights. There is a whole plethora of people in this industry at the moment call exactly what Lucas has said, like not being able to use Flash properly, but calling themselves a natural light photographer to kind of get away with it. Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, number 2 from Lucas, paying magazines isn't really featured in, and that's the hottest take of them all, isn't it? Paying magazines isn't really featured in. And it's not. It's like these lists that you can find. Like if you Google, wedding photographer in your area, and these blogs will have like a top 10 list, like top 10 Adelaide wedding photographers, top 10 New York wedding photographers. They're all paid spots. I had a story highlight up until like a year ago, where I literally just paid for the top spot in Adelaide, and I was just the number 1 photographer in Adelaide. And then if you use ChatGPT and stuff, it just comes up with like one of my companies that doesn't even exist anymore because we renamed it, still comes up as one of the top photographers because we paid for it to be on a list. It's fucking easy. It's like those awards that aren't really awards. You get to pay to be in them, and it's all a fucking little circle jerk. But yeah, paying isn't featured in. It's like, I reckon the wording should be like marketed in, or if you wanted to do it without lying, you could do like shown in, because technically your art was shown in there, but you did pay for it. But you do technically pay for a feature, don't you? Like you pay to be featured in Vogue. I feel like everybody knows that now. Or is it maybe it's just the wedding photography industry that knows that Vogue isn't real? Yeah. I don't think it's that controversial. I think that's quite vanilla. Everybody knows that paying for magazines isn't being featured in. From Marcel, they say sharp photos are better. Again, I don't think that's real. Oh, fuck, the next one's good. I just screened it. Sharp photos are better. Like there's this whole, and now I think there's the authenticity of film, which doesn't really bring as sharp an image. I like a blurry film image. I fucking hate a blurry digital image. There is a reason that camera companies have spent so long, so many hundreds, millions of dollars building better camera technology with better autofocus and better and like faster lenses and wide open apertures. And that's why we're able to shoot at like 1.2 or 0.95 or whatever, just to then make a blurry photo is fucking wild. I understand when the photo is authentic and it is like from a proper film camera or something along those lines, but forced photos to be blurry drive me up the fucking wall. Absolutely drive me up the wall. He says, as a photographer that actually takes some blurry images, I don't know if I would call light drag images blurry images. It's still a sharp image, and then you've just added blur to it. Yeah, no, I don't think that's really that controversial. Again, I think that a majority of people would agree with that. The next one's fucking fire from Casper. Dark and moody is just another word for shit. That's fucking so good. Agreed. Hope that fad fades. Light and airy is just another word for overexposed. From a dark and moody photographer. Oh, that's great, isn't it? I really like dark and moody images. If I could deliver all of my images as dark and moody images, like that real, but like if you're watching the video, you can kind of tell, like I like the dark aesthetic. I like black and fucking devils and ghosts and, like the Undertaker's in the background. And I like that aesthetic. So I look at someone like, from Melbourne, I'm pretty sure he is. There's a guy in Australia anyway called Davell Page. Let me bring up his fucking account here for you right now. Davell Page _ DAVELEPAGE _ Davell Page. He's from Victoria, Tasmania, and New South Wales. I fucking love his photos so bad. They're so good. They're really dark and moody. If you're watching the video, I'll put my phone up on the screen. You can see like proper dark and moody wedding photos. They're so sick. So sick. I would love to edit in that way, but it just, one, I've never been able to figure out how to do it. And two, it doesn't really match my sort of style of photography. Like the photos that we take are like more crazy, party, fun, high energy, laughing, joking, jovial sort of stuff. And it doesn't really match a really dark and moody Pinterest board. Like it doesn't really match those sorts of photos. So I have in the past tried to start like a small Instagram account where I just post those dark and moody photos, but I can't figure out how to edit it. I'd love to do a class on it or something. Like if somebody runs a workshop on dark and moody photo editing or something, I'd fucking love it. But on the other side of the spectrum though, I really fucking hate light and airy photos, like so bright. So the next one, where was it? Light and airy is just another word for overexposed. That's fucking amazing. Yeah, I don't really like them. Like you see those boho ones. I went through a boho phase. Really hope boho doesn't come back because they're fucked. You know, when you take a photo of somebody and then you just make their skin orange and you overexpose everything. That was a disgusting time, wasn't it? I did it. I can say this because I did it. It's weird that there are still people doing it in 2025. I feel like in 2025, we're slowly coming back to like natural images, you know, we're coming back to true color, this is what the wedding day actually looked like. Gone are the days of kind of like stripping greens and stripping the blue out of the sky and all that sort of stuff. And we're coming back to like people wanting to actually capture the memories of their wedding day opposed to like hyper edited images. I feel maybe that's just my circle. Maybe that's just like what I'm sort of seeing on my Instagram account. I'd be interested to hear what you guys are seeing on your feeds because everybody's feed's curated, isn't it? But yeah, I feel like we're coming back. So we're kind of in the middle of this light and airy, dark and moody phase. I feel like dark and moody will always have a spot though, because there's always going to be little emo kids like me that really like dark and moody photos. Just as I feel like there'll probably always be this fucking light and airy thing, won't there? There's always going to be somebody that'll pay for it. Hopefully boho dies though. That's my opinion. Anyway. Presets that make everything look nicotine yellow should be federally banned from Crystal. That's exactly what I just fucking talked about. Presets that make everything look nicotine yellow. Fuck, I wonder if anybody's made a color called nicotine yellow. That'd be so. Nicotine yellow refers to the yellow or brownish discoloration that occurs on teeth, fingers, and sometimes other surfaces. Oh, what a mood board that would be. Nicotine yellow. Fucking gross. That's disgusting. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I just said. Like, we're coming back to these true colors now where, like, people don't want this yellow. They don't want all of this, like, yeah, I praise selective color never returns as a trend. That's the next one. It's a lot of editing stuff, isn't it? I don't think these are that controversial, though. I think these are more like just things that we're all thinking in our head, but we haven't really said out loud. But yeah, those, like, fucking... Oh, presets that make everything look nicotine yellow should be federally banned. That's amazing. That is amazing. Just the wording in that comment is so good. That was from Crystal. Molly says, I praise selective color never returns as a trend. I saw this just yesterday, maybe the day before yesterday. It was in a real estate ad of all things. There's a real estate ad for like an old pub that's for sale here in South Australia. And the header image, the image that you see when you get on realestate.com is a black and white image of the pub, but it's got like red accents in it. And it's so fucked. Like, it's not an appealing photo at all. Whoever's in charge of this real estate ad, please fucking change it. It's so bad. But yeah, like when everything's black and white, but the roses are red or something. I mean, it can be done well at times, but I definitely don't feel like this is the time to be doing that in 2025. Yeah, that's pretty gross. That's pretty ugly. Here we go. Now, this one here we go. So Kalina, her controversial opinion is that photographers that are charging less are taking away the clients, or however people word this. We all start somewhere, build the value. This one, I've actually got an opinion on. I don't think it's a controversial opinion. I think what she is saying is what I say as well, in that like there's a whole plethora of people in the world, in the photography industry, that are saying like, oh, like people are bringing down the price of wedding photography, or people are like, all these people charging really cheap, they bring down the cost of wedding photography, and like now people are paying less, and I can't book any weddings because, I can't book my $5,000 wedding package because people are charging $1,000. That's just never true at all. The reason you can't book your $5,000 wedding is probably because your business is fucked. If somebody's booking a $1,000 wedding photographer, they were never booking a $5,000 wedding photographer. If you're a $5,000 wedding photographer, you are in a different client base than a $10,000 wedding photographer. They are all very different levels of photography. Just like if you're shopping for a car, if you've got $2,000, you're not going to walk into a Ferrari dealership. But Ferrari's not going, oh, the fucking Kia Sportage is ruining the industry. Now nobody's buying Ferraris because they're all buying Kias. Like, it's a different thing. It's a whole different industry. It's a whole different playing field in that you've just got to focus on your market. You've got to focus on the people that are in your area, in your certain pricing bracket. If you're too concerned with people eating the dirt, then you're never going to be able to sit up in the clouds with other people. Gary Vee says that fucking heaps better, but like, if you're too focused on the people beneath you and like, oh, look at them, I can't believe they're doing a wedding for $850. Like, oh, I can't believe they're shooting weddings for $1,000. Like, how am I ever going to book? They're not the people you should be focusing your attention on. You shouldn't be focusing your attention on the people that are like down the bottom and just trying to get their way up. You should be looking up at the people that are charging $10,000 and be like, how can I be near them? Like, maybe you don't want to be a $10,000 wedding photographer. Maybe you're happy at like $7.5. So how can you be near the $10,000 people and charge $7.5? Then those people will be looking down on you, being like, oh, how am I going to charge $10,000 when he's charging $7.5? Because those people down below you, these $1,000 wedding photographers, people that are shooting a 12-hour day for $1,200 with 2 photographers, a videographer, drone footage, full ceremony, full speeches and everything, they're probably looking up at you being like, how can I get to the point that I'm charging $3,500? How can I get to the point that I'm charging $3,000 for a wedding? We're not making any money. We're going to get burnt out. People spend too much time looking down opposed to looking up. Like, look at the people that are above you and be like, how the fuck can I get there? Like, how can I get to that level of photography, rather than worrying about the people beneath you? Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that reaches one of you. One fucker listening to this, one of you people, stop looking down at the people beneath you and their pricing. Look at the people that are charging more than you and ask how you can get to their level rather than focusing on the people below. That's it. One person. If you're that one person, send me a message. Yeah, it's fucked. Build the value. Exactly. Build the value. Kalina said it right. Here we go. An anonymous one. Hopefully they actually fucking say it. Anonymous member 580. I just told a DJ this weekend, if a photographer tells you during a wedding not to dim the lights, they have no business being a wedding photographer. You shouldn't be shooting weddings unless you can shoot in any lighting conditions. Sting. Anonymous member 580. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. If it's the difference between a beautifully lit chandelier over the dance floor for a first dance or a boring piece of glass, I'd ask for it to stay on. Anonymous member 580. Dim, not turn off. No one wants their first dance in a brightly lit room. Oh, come on. Don't be anonymous for this comment. It's a good position to stand for. I want to stalk your website now. Nope. I had a DJ throw a bright green spot. Yeah, this is where I come into it. I literally had this. I made this comment on Instagram just the other day. I had a DJ throw a bright green spotlight on the couple just as the first dance started. I put an end to that bullshit immediately. You can't fix stupid, but sometimes you can yell at it and get results. Whoa, that's disgusting. Jessica commented, yes, yes. You know that one? You know that fucking yes. Turn the lights off, lasers on, and dance already. For open dance floor, that is, keep it classy for the first/parent dancers because love heart emoji. Literally had this discussion with Riley in my comment section somewhere that at no point should the DJ be turning on any sort of colored light during a first dance or a daddy-daughter dance or whatever the fuck dance you're having. There is no space for colored light during a first dance. I think so we bring our own lights for the first dance because we want it to look good. So we now, especially if we've got video, because we work with our videographers opposed to against our videographers, which is something, my controversial take, before I answer this question, my controversial take is more photographers need to work with their videographers opposed to fighting against them. You're both on the same team. We're both trying to make the best possible content for our couples. The best way to do that is to work together as a team. That means not firing your flash 17,000 times during the first dance. We all understand that we need to get the best photos, but we can do that in a way that doesn't fuck the videographer's video. We do that really, really well here because I always bring my own videographers. 99% of the packages that we sell are both photo and video. We have both photo and video in the same package. So our job is to work together as a team to create the best possible result for our clients. That means solid light. Use a solid light so that when they're filming the first dance and it's really romantic, it's very nice, there's not fucking pinging flash in the back of their video, which will just fuck it, which forces cuts. And especially like at those crucial moments, like the couple are doing their dance, they're doing something really nice. Maybe they're doing a dip and then you fucking fire away 60 photos just to get a really nice one. When in the meantime, you've fucked the entire video. That's my controversial take. Be nice to your videographers because we need them because they get behind the scenes content for you. But yeah, back to this. No colored lights during first dance. We once had a DJ. He's a right piece of shit, this DJ. And one, his music was too loud. Two, during the speeches, he just fucking handed the microphone out willy-nilly and was like walking up and down the pews, just handing the microphone to people while the sun was setting. Like we were missing sunset photos and it wasn't in the schedule, but he just randomly started handing out the fucking microphone to people so that they could go and do their whatever. Anyway, during the first dance, we were like, hey, can you not turn these lights on? Because they've asked us to film the whole first dance. They had like a choreographed routine and stuff. And they want a video of the whole thing and they want it to look really, really nice. And he was like, yep, don't worry about it. Yep, no worries. As soon as the first dance started, just like what Chris said here, he turned on his colored lights and they were like flashing around and it looked like a nightclub, but they were dancing to like Ed Sheeran and doing a fucking choreographed dance. And it just doesn't match. And then we were like, hey, man, you said you wouldn't turn them on. Can you turn them off? He's like, oh, I don't know how. Like, I don't know which plug it is. Oh, fucking piece of shit. I'm still angry about it. I'm still angry about it now. But yeah, other than that, like you can turn your lights down because we'll probably bring our own solid light. But then the way that we run it is that we bring our own solid lights to sit behind the couple and that way we don't need to use flash. And then once the dance floor starts, like people started dancing, we can turn our lights off and then it goes dark again. And we turn them off pretty quickly as well. We're not keeping our lights on for a really long time. Yeah. But I don't know if I agree with Anonymous member. That's a controversial take just because it's fucking wrong, isn't it? John Wah. The people come up with contrived controversial opinions as clickbait. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what this is, isn't it? And I'm making the most of it. Okay, this one's very good from Rich Miller. Oh, God. Again, Andrew made one about this as well. Just because you will use the word investment doesn't mean you're high end. That's fucking good. That's very, very good. Just because you use the word investment, it doesn't mean you're high end. And that's just like words that this just goes back to like people trying to label themselves as something to kind of like one up their sales or one up their fucking something. Like, you know, I'm a light and airy photographer. I'm a fucking natural light photographer. That's just what this stuff does as well. Like it's all those words that are meant to be like marketing words almost. They're meant to kind of help you come off as like bigger than you are to the client. But at the end of the day, like really all you're doing is lying to the client. I have a big, strong belief that like we just like stop lying to people. Stop. Yeah. You know, like the whole pricing thing. I've spoken about this somewhere before. Where people are like price anchoring. So they have a package in their welcome guide that's like $15. And they know full well that no one's ever going to book that. They know that they're never going to book that $17,000 package. But that way when the client comes to this was taught in all of the classes in like 2009, 2010, 2014 maybe. Price anchoring where like then they come to your welcome guide and they're like, oh my God, these guys charge $17,000 a wedding, but we can get him for $4,000. How amazing is that? Like, we're getting the $17,000 wedding photographer, but we only have to pay $4,000. That's amazing. How good is that? When in reality, you never booked that $17,000 wedding. You're actually a $4,000 wedding photographer. Very disingenuous. I did it when I first started. It's gross now that I think back on it. I don't think it actually worked. I think authenticity is far more important. I just hope that people kind of learn from the stuff that I've done. That's why I'm such an open book, and I'll tell you everything that I have done and everything that has gone wrong, everything that has gone right, so that people can kind of learn from my experiences and put it into your own business. Rather than like trying to go it alone and you know, trials and failures and all this sort of stuff. This is a great one from Eric. This is a very good one. And something that I was only thinking about the other day, I was actually thinking about trying to make a whole episode on it, but I don't know if there's enough flesh there. Eric, that better gear does make you a better photographer, or at least it should make you a better photographer. That's like so true. It's hard to kind of say, but all you really need to do is you put two photographers next to each other, one with good gear and one with bad gear. And yes, you can take good photos on bad gear, but you can take better photos on good gear. So there's a couple of photographers in my circle that I can that I see, and I see their work and stuff, and they're taking pretty good photos, but they've got old gear or new gear. There are some people that have got like new gear, but like kit lenses, for instance. You know, they're like what, f4.5 to 6.3 or something. And you can just tell that it's a kit lens, and you could put them in the same pose. You could have the same couple, and it's the same with like workshops or even styled shoots, dreaded styled shoot word. If you take people to a workshop, they've all given the exact same conditions. The couples are all put in the exact same position, same lighting, same everything, and people are taking essentially the same photo. But if your gear is worse, your photo is going to be worse, even though everything else was exactly the same. The difference between shooting at 1.2 and 2.8 is huge. Everybody's like, no, I could never shoot without my 70 to, my 24 to 70, 2.8. But they're like, you look at other wedding photographers that are actually like working and stuff and full time, and maybe we do a gear episode, because there's a whole bunch I want to say on the 24 to 70 or the 28 to 70 as well. And we'll get to that one day. Maybe that's next week's episode or next fortnight's episode. But just putting someone's camera like literally lens to lens, like a 4.5 to 1.2 difference is chalk and cheese. Even if it's the same photographer taking the same photos or two different lenses, a good lens and a bad lens, they're going to look completely different. That gives you confidence as well. Like, the better your gear is, the more confident you are in your own gear. You're seeing the photos come out. You're not having to do as much editing. You can literally be taking a photo and be like, holy fuck, that's already great straight out of camera. Yeah, I think people need to invest in better lenses straight away. I think the first thing that every photographer should buy is a prime lens. Prime 50, 1.2 or 1.4. I genuinely think that is the best wedding photography lens ever. It's the 50, 1.2 or 1.4. I think that should be one of the first things that anybody buys, because it's going to elevate your photography so much, so quickly. And it's going to take you out of the 24 to 70 bubble that so many people live in. So many people live in this 24 to 70 bubble where, like, you just take an entire wedding on a 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200. And you're like, I've got every focal length. I can do all of the photos. Like, yeah, you can take a photo at every focal length, but they're all fucking mid. Like, they're all mid-level photos. A 24 to 70, and this is what I'll do the whole episode on it, but the 24 to 70 or the 28 to 70 can take lots of good photos, but it only does them well, where a 50 1.2 or an 85 1.2 or a 1.4 or whatever can't take all photos, but the photos it does take are fucking phenomenal. And that's the difference. The bokeh, the separation, the compression, everything is so much fucking better on a prime lens. Literally fucking everything. 28 to 70 comes pretty close, but they're so heavy it hurts your wrist. It's just not worth it. Whole episode coming on that maybe one day. I like this next one from Sarah though. Educators who don't actively shoot the niche they teach in are quickly not relevant. And that's fucking so true. There is a couple of educators out there at the moment that are like teaching business, teaching marketing, teaching how to become a wedding photographer, but they don't have any fucking weddings booked. Like they're not actually, and they're trying. There are people that are trying to book weddings and they can't, and they're blaming it on the economy, or they're blaming it on quiet seasons, or they're blaming it on fucking like literally anything in the world they're blaming it on, and still trying to teach when that's just simply not true. Like, yes, Australia has a different market, but I do have friends in the other markets. I can see what's happening in the other markets. Fucking Liam Good is the absolute pinnacle of this argument. He's not an influencer, but he is booked to the fucking teeth in weddings because he's got a solid brand. He's a great person, and he's got leads coming out of his asshole. He's so good. It does help that his photos are phenomenal as well, but like, there are educators out there that are trying to teach you, like, this is how you need to run a business. This is what you need to do to be a professional wedding photographer. When they haven't shot a wedding in fucking 6 years, they've got no idea what it takes to be a wedding photographer anymore. They're like wedding photographers before eye tracking was a thing. They're booking weddings, and like, it's going to be very apparent in the next couple of months because Facebook or Meta are bringing out their new targeted ad system. Essentially, they're getting rid of targeted ads on Facebook, from what I've been told. So all these people that are like, yeah, I'll give you the tea now, is all you need to do to become a successful wedding photographer is run a free engagement shoot campaign on Facebook with targeted ads. That's worked for decades. It's going to, maybe not decades, but it's worked for a decade, and it's going to continue working until Facebook fucking removes its targeting. And we'll see what happens, where all these influencers are like, and fucking coaching courses and stuff as well, like coaching classes, like mentorships, I was literally just talking to Cassidy Lynn this morning about this, and about people being like super positive and like talking about how they're all like life coaches for people, like for photographers. I had a photographer here in my studio last year come to my door crying, bawling their eyes out. Their photography business was up the shitter. No bookings. They had no bookings after. They had like a couple of bookings for the next 6 months, and then they had nothing. Nothing at all. Online, on their online presence, though, you would have absolutely no idea the way that they talk about like everything they're doing, and they're always like busy and fucking around. But then they come here and they ask me for help because their business is fucked. But then not like 3 days later, they're promoting their own mentorship program online. But you don't have a business. How are you going to mentor other people in growing a business when you can't grow your own? That doesn't make sense. How are you going to teach people how to like book weddings when you can't book any weddings yourself? How are you going to teach in an industry that you're not actually fucking working in? This one's really hit me. Educators who don't actively shoot the niche they teach and are quickly not relevant, hits me fucking hard, because there are so many people that like shoot weddings and then they just like have a couple of viral reels, they get a few thousand followers, and then they just fuck off and educate, and they never come back. Whereas I am personally, I'm not really that much of an educator. I wouldn't call myself an educator. I'm just a wedding photographer. Like, I still shoot 70 weddings a year. Like, I'm fucking shooting every weekend. Yes, I could probably teach, but I don't really have the time because I'm still shooting weddings. And this is probably where people leave, in that you can't really become an educator if you're working full time. But if you're working full time, you actually know what to educate on because you're still working in the industry. This one's fucking great. This one will get me really riled up really quickly. Photographers not sharing their images with wedding vendors is not cool. I'll read that again. I'll read it again. Photographers not sharing images with wedding vendors is not cool. This is where it's like, it's really hard to be subjective because, like, technically we have the copyright. They're our images. That's our work. That would be like me saying florists not giving us free flowers after the wedding is not cool. That's their job. That's what they did, but they didn't give me any flowers. Why didn't they give me any flowers? Why doesn't the venue let me stay in the hotel overnight for free? Venues not sharing the beds with the photographers is not cool. Venues not feeding photographers for free is not cool. Photographers not sharing images with wedding vendors is not cool. There's a reason that so many people do. We share our photos with the vendors because we just do. We always have. But We shouldn't have to. Nothing fucking irks me more than a celebrant who was a dog shit on the wedding day, like wouldn't let us plug into the speaker or whatever to get audio or anything like that, messaging us the day after the wedding being like, hey man, did you get any nice photos of me working? Can I have them? Fucking pay us. Like, that's our job. If you want nice headshots of you working, pay for someone to come and take nice headshots of you working. I'm not going to fucking message you and ask you to come and be my celebrant for free. Hey, can you donate your time, energy, and effort to come and be my celebrant for free? That'd be sick. Maybe I'll take a photo of you. Like, why should we have to give, and this is where photographers kind of just get fucked their entire lives. Why should we have to give away our copyrighted material and give away our services for free when people wouldn't do that in return for us? Like, that's not fair. That's not something that should fucking happen. If you're a vendor and you like the photos that the photographer took, pay them for the photos. At least fucking offer to pay. Like, hey man, love those photos you got of me at the wedding on the weekend. Can I buy a couple off you for social media? There's just this entire stigma around like, oh, photographers will give you all the photos for free, when in reality we shouldn't have to. The couple paid us. We're licensed by the couple to take the photos. Why should we then not charge you for the same images just because we've already taken them? If you're and it says here in the comment, sometimes if you're a dick to work with, I'll straight up refuse or ignore your request to use my copyrighted images. The couple contracted me. I don't owe vendors anything. Sometimes if you're a shit vendor to us, we just won't take a photo of you. Like, if you're not going to help us and you're not going to let us get the best for our clients, like there are some fucking celebrants that will not move for the kiss photo. They're like, nah, I'm not moving. You can Photoshop me out. Or like, it happens. Like, it sounds fake, but there are vendors here, especially like even here in Adelaide, they're like, nah, we're not going to move. You can, I've never moved before. I'm not going to start moving now. Like, I want to be in the middle. So I Photoshop them out. I make sure they're not in a single photo, and then we deliver the gallery. Just leave us the fuck alone. Like, it's so annoying. I don't understand the audacity of people to be like, you should give it to us for free when it's our work. Like, no other vendor is expected to give away stuff for free. Why should the photographers be? That'd be like asking a videographer, hey man, saw you had a ceremony camera. Can you just, and this has actually happened to me. They're like, oh, I saw you had a ceremony camera. Can you just edit me up a video of me working? No, motherfucker. I was going to say the C word, but I'm going to try to keep that off the podcast. But like, no, we're not going to fucking make you a ceremony highlight film for your website for free and like edit all of this shit together and work extra hours. God, this one fucking gets me. Am I the only one? Surely I'm not the only one that feels like photographers shouldn't have to give their stuff away for free if they don't want to. I don't know. That one fucking got me. This one's cool, especially straight after COVID, because this is when it's really, really happened. Buying a camera and starting a website or Facebook page doesn't make you a photographer. There was a huge influx of people doing this post-COVID. COVID happened. Everybody lost their jobs. Everybody started like, they were working from home. They were saving up some money. Maybe they got fired during COVID, and they lost their job. And then they just went and like bought a camera from JB Hi-Fi or whatever. Good guys. No, what do you got in America? Hammer Barn? No, that's fucking Bluey. Oh, Best Buy? That's American, isn't it? From Best Buy. Anyway, they would go down, they bought a camera, and then they bought a lens. They got a couple of presets off the internet. Shameless plug, you can buy presets from my website. And then they just called themselves photographers. And then they went through and they like booked a whole bunch of weddings. Like the Facebook groups were all of a sudden inundated with all of these new like wedding photographers, quote unquote, wedding photographers coming in. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, $750. Cool, no worries. And then what people don't realize is that, like, especially in wedding photography, you don't get paid for like a year, 2 years. Your first like 3 years in business in wedding photography, you make fuck all money, really. You're living off deposits. So you'll like take a bunch of deposits. And this is what happened in COVID. It's like all these people took a whole bunch of deposits from couples and then realized that like there's no money until the wedding season hits. And then you hold out your bucket and you make as much money as you can in the wedding season. And then you get to kind of hold it and you got to hope that it lasts all the way through winter. So they went and took all of these deposits during COVID, and then they had no income coming in. And then people started going back to work. People went back to their normal jobs. People went back to normal life. And then wedding season came around, and there was all of these weddings. And then all of these like new photographers just disappeared with the deposits because they'd lost their hyperfixation on being a wedding photographer, and they were gone. And then there was all the fucking Facebook groups all flooded again with like, can anybody help? My wedding photographer's disappeared. Like, I haven't heard from them in weeks. My wedding is in a month and I haven't heard from them since I booked, blah, 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 blah. Facebook page is gone. Instagram account's gone. Everything's gone. That person just does not exist anymore. It was good for people like me that had established studios because we were able to like help out. So during that like post-COVID boom, like 2021, let's say, 2020, we took on a whole bunch of weddings. We took on arguably too many weddings, but we just to help out. Like there were some weddings we were shooting for like $2,000. There were weddings that like I lost money on because after you know, now lost money is a strong sentence. Once you take into consideration like rent, because we have a studio and editing costs and storage costs and all that sort of stuff, we lost money, but physically on the front end, we didn't lose money. But it was very, very close. But just to help out, like, you know, they had a $2,000 budget, cost me $1,800 in staff to get people there, but we would do it just to help them. And this is where like this comment comes from, like just buying a camera and starting a website doesn't make you a photographer. There's so much more into it, but it does. Like everybody starts somewhere. But yeah, that post-COVID boom was fucking crazy. Does anybody remember that fucking boom? If you were a photographer in that time, let me know, because I don't know many other people that are like still here. So many people like came into the industry during COVID because they got let off from their job, and then so many people went back. Right, one more. I'm going to read one more. Oh, Johnny Denton, I'll read this one. It's okay to have a beer and eat the canapes. Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely it is. I literally just talked about this on Cassidy's podcast. Maybe I'll talk about it. There'll be another episode on that one. But like in Australia anyway, we always drink at the weddings. It's always fun. America needs to loosen the fuck up. Just drink. It's not that bad. You'll be okay. You'll survive. Here's Neela's. We'll come full circle now. I stand by my Flatlays. They are chosen for 90% of albums my couples design. When they stop paying me to print them, I'll stop shooting them. There's a big difference. There's a big difference here, Neela, between like, if they're in all of our albums, the couples still print a photo of all of the details because that's the details of the things they wore on their wedding day. I still think people need to take photos of Flatlays, like of the things. I just don't feel like it needs to be that big of a deal, does it? With like setting it out for an hour on a table and people, it's fucking wild that people bring like, and this, I've never seen this in Australia. Maybe it exists, but I've only ever seen it in America, where people bring mats to take Flatlay photos on, like a white mat, and they roll it up and they like bring it with them. I'm pretty sure Michael does this. Now, this episode wasn't made to come for Michael because me and Michael are both on Team Prime. We're great. I'm on the vendor table next week, I believe. Me and Michael, we're on the same team, but I cannot get around bringing a physical mat to take photos of Flatlays on. Absolutely. Oh, 100%. Yes. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one to end on, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you. 100% documentary wedding photography is bullshit. And that is so fucking true. There is no such thing as 100% documentary wedding photography. 100% documentary wedding photography would just be an entire gallery of taking a photo of the side of somebody's head because there is no prompting or posing involved. There is documentary style photography where you are more of a fly on the wall. And that's what we are for a lot of the wedding day, is we take photos of what's happening around us, but you do need to pose people. There needs to be posing and prompts, and like setting somebody up for a family photo, for instance, is considered posing. The bridal party section, telling them to stand in a line and stuff, is posing. There's no way of doing that I know of. Somebody prove me wrong. But there's no way of doing that without giving them poses or prompts or them seeing photos online. 100% documentary photography is a fucking lie. Anyway, I think we'll call it there. If you enjoyed this episode of Talk Talk, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you've enjoyed it and you've actually had fun and you like listening to me whinge, let me know. leave a comment, tag me on Instagram when you're listening to the episode so I can see that you're watching it, and then we can have a little fucking chat about it. If you'd like to see me go through more of these comments, I reckon we made it through about 50 of the 170 or whatever there was. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will comments down below. Fucking message me on Instagram. We are so close to 200K on TikTok or on Instagram. Sorry, I reckon we might have actually hit that by the time this airs. We've only got 1,000 followers to go, and we will be there. Yeah, we are so close. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Tog Talk. If there's anything you'd like to hear me cover, let me know in the comments somewhere. Come over to the Tog Talk Instagram. That's where we post all the short clips, tog.talk. But until then, until I see you again and your smiling little faces, till you hear my voice in your little fucking ear holes, just let it be known that I love you very much. Have a fantastic day. Bye.